legitimate receivers to be left one-on-one.
And a quick toss to Cup, and Cooper Cup makes his way in.
What's up, guys? I'm bringing you a matchup here from Week 7 between Ross and Raul. This one was a surprisingly close contest here, coming down to the wire, only because it was like Raul had a slight chance going into Monday Night Football to maybe steal a victory, but the Saints defense just could not make enough plays. So Ross was able to cruise to a fairly comfortable victory here at the end. Not without its thrills, though, for sure. So let's kind of dive in to see how things went. So because of bye-mageddon, they call it, right? All these different bye weeks this past week, Ross had to table his champion, Josh Allen, had to play in Derek Carr. My Raiders had to play Derek Carr. So he came up big for him, man. He got 23 points, 323 yards, 2 touchdowns. Very efficient. So definitely helped you get that win this week, Ross. And then on the other side, Jalen Hurts, his counterpart on that same field, got 27.5 points. Didn't feel like it, though. That's just the thing about Jalen Hurts. He doesn't feel like he's having these great games, but you look up, he has 27 fantasy points. It's like, how, you know? But he had 2 touchdowns. He had a 2-point conversion. Also had 13 carries for 61 yards. So the rushing definitely helps with that. Gets that floor a little bit higher. It definitely helps with those fantasy weeks. So that was good for you there, Raul. Jonathan Taylor, the freshly traded for Jonathan Taylor, you got from Sarah's roster, Ross. Definitely came up big time for you here. 16.5 points, got you 100 yards on the ground and a touchdown. So, you know, he did pretty much what you traded him to do. Didn't have the huge week, but getting 16.5 points is more than enough, especially when the rest of your roster is pretty much doing what they need to do, right? Hitting their projections. So, you know, pretty solid performance there from Mr. Taylor. Leonard Fournette, regular season, Lenny got 16 points, 15 carries, 81 yards, and a TD. You know, he's been dominating touches there for the Tampa Bay backfield. Ronald Jones has been MIA. You know, they just don't even use him anymore. You know, I just said I stashed him for a couple of days. I said, you know what, I'm not going to stash Ronald Jones. He's not going to get any playing time unless Lenny gets hurt. And this guy has been a machine all year long. So you know, hopefully he keeps rolling for you there. Javonte Williams, 14.2 points. Got a nice late touchdown there in the Thursday Night Football contest to save his day. So he's still, you know, sharing touches there with Melvin Gordon. They're kind of splitting series, it seems like. So I think eventually he's going to break out and really, you know, you might start taking about 75% of the touches, but right now it's still about 55% at best. Elijah Mitchell got 16.7 points. Had a very good day there in the rain. 18 carries, 107 yards, and the touchdown. So, you know, the Niners have at least some bright spots here. You know, looking forward with Mitchell and guys like Deebo Samuel. You know, they're producing. So get that quarterback position right, and you got to start rolling there, Niner fans. Cooper Kupp, 32.6 points, continuing to have a completely monster season. You know, it's just I think he's like 35 points ahead of the second closest receiver in fantasy right now. It's just absurd. Him and Matthew Stafford are just going complete ham in their first year together, too. It's wild. 10 catches, 156 yards, and 2 touchdowns. It's becoming a pretty routine stat line here for Cooper Kupp. Robert Woods, his counterpart there, you know, the kind of little head-to-head action here. He's kind of, you know, suffering a little bit because Kupp has been so big. You know, Woods has kind of had his role diminished, you know, but he's still pretty up decent numbers. He got 6 catches, 70 yards, and a 2-point conversion. No end zone this game, but Woods is kind of definitely being overshadowed there by the presence of Kupp. DJ Moore, 10.3 points. You know, I think his numbers have been getting hurt here the last couple of weeks just because Sam Darnold has the accuracy of Jeff George out there, just throwing it, you know, fucking 20 yards off target, high, low. It's, you know, he's definitely, you know, regressing as a quarterback a little bit here for Carolina. So it's definitely hurting DJ Moore's production, but he still got 6 catches for 73 yards somehow. Hunter Renfrow got the start for my Raiders, 9.3 points, 7 catches, 58 yards. That's a pretty routine stat line for Hunter Renfrow. Third in Renfrow, if you want to get his name right. Cole Kmet, Darren Waller couldn't go, so Ross had to go and make a pivot here on the waivers. Got, you know, an okay number there, 5 catches, 43 yards. I've seen tight ends get worse numbers this week, so that's not bad. Like speaking of worst numbers, I'm looking at one right now. Cameron Brate put up the 0.0 goose egg this week for you, Raul. You can't have that, right? That's brutal. You're missing Gronk. You need Gronk back because his replacement's been pretty underwhelming here over the last 2-3 weeks. So hopefully he gets back soon for you there. Rashad Bateman, 9.5 points, 3 catches, 80 yards. He's a big-time rookie that the Ravens drafted. He's finally on the field. So I think him and Hollywood Brown are going to, definitely have to compete for touches because they run the ball so much. It's going to be hard to really predict who's going to go off each week. But Bateman had a very nice game here for you, Ross. Good pickup. Christian Kirk, 13 points, 4 catches, 50 yards, and the touchdown. Arizona, they just keep spreading the ball around. There's not like one guy who has like huge weeks every week for Arizona, but there's just like about 2 or 3 guys who have like 10, 12, 14, 16 fantasy points. So Kyler Murray is definitely dealing right now. Harrison Butker from the kicker spot only had 3 points in that ugly Kansas City performance there up in Tennessee. I'm not used to seeing the Chiefs not score a touchdown, but that didn't happen. And for me as a Raider fan, I was really enjoying all of it. It's just I'm so used to Kansas City just going in and dominating and rolling people. It's just nice to kind of see that they're not invincible anymore, right? So personally, I love seeing it. But I know you didn't like seeing that from the kicker spot there, Ross. Only 3 points for Butker. And Justin Tucker only had 5 points. So it's 2 of the best kickers in the league combined for only 8 points in this contest. That's pretty wild. And finally, the Panther defense only had 2 points, 2 sacks, but that's about it. And the New Orleans defense played really well there. Got 5 sacks, only allowed 10 points, but just couldn't get you enough points to pull off the comeback for you there, Raul. But all in all, huge win there for you, Ross. You keep rolling. You and I are pretty much toe to toe right now. I think we're separated by like 6 points and points 4 on the season. So we're both 6-1. So, we'll see who continues to keep the streak rolling. It might be both of us. Maybe one of us takes a nosedive. I don't know who's going to be, but you're going to keep on winning for sure. I'm pretty confident in that. And then Raul, man, you're on a 5-game losing streak, man. I think 5 games. You start off 2-0, and now you've lost 5 straight. That's absolutely terrible, man. You have a pretty good team. I don't see where that's happening. I think it's because McCaffrey's been out. That's my only guess. But you have a pretty good roster. But you need Gronk back, so hopefully you get some people healthy. You can maybe make a late season run here as the second half of the season kicks off. So let you rest away, man. And Ross, keep doing you. Congrats.